Welcome into the latest edition of ESPN FC. I'm Dan Thomas, joined by Shaka, Hislop and Stevie Nicol. Later on in the show, we're discussing the possibility of Karim Benzema playing for Chelsea this season. But we'll kick things off with Chelsea's old manager, Jose Mourinho, who was sacked today by Roma. 2.5 years he lasted in Italy, and of course during that tenure he would bring them what's it called again? The
Europa Conference League.
Conference League trophy. And let's here to explain things much better than I just did. Frank Leboeuf is here, and Gab Marcotti. Gab, I thought everyone loved him in Roma.
I think a lot of people do. Certainly the fans, the match-going fans in the stadium do. It's pretty evident that, you know, he'd forged a really special relationship with them. Equally, the people who are paying the bills, the Friedkins, maybe not so much. I mean, they lost something like 400 million in the season before he came and his first season there. He was the highest paid or second highest paid coach in Serie A. They had the third highest wage bill. To make all of this work, they need to get Champions League football. And I think they looked at the table and they said, guys, we're 9th in the table. We're in the Europa League. We can get to the Champions League by winning that, but it's tough. We're only, 6th or 7th favorites in that. There's a lot of good teams in there. Maybe we should make a change. Also because Mourinho's contract was expiring at the end of the season, and Mourinho was keen to extend it, or at least he said he was. And Roma said, well, hang on a minute. Let's wait until the end of the season and figure out whether we want to keep you. And Mourinho didn't appreciate that. So I think they figured better to act now and get it done with.
Right decision, in your opinion, Gab?
I mean, I think probably, yeah, because objectively, there's... I mean, when you're running a club, right, you're doing it for the fans, and the fans who show up, and he's selling out the Stadio Olimpico, and you figure, hey, this is great. They really love him. A lot of other fans had begun to turn on him, and ultimately, though, you're dealing with results. He finished 6th in his first season. He finished 6th in his second season. He's in 9th place now. Of all the managers that Roma have had since 1991, on a per-match basis, he has the absolute lowest points per game of any manager that's coached at least 50 games in Serie A. So you put all these together, you throw in the fact that this is a squad that's filled with veterans and expensive loan signings. Think of Dybala, Lukaku, Leandro Paredes, guys like that. And this is a team that's kind of built to deliver here and now. He's not building for the future. So I think when they looked at all that, they said, it's time to move on. And they're going to move on at the end of the season anyway, unless you reach top 4. So they've handed the keys to Daniele De Rossi, who's Roma through and through. It's his first, he had a stint at Spal in Serie B, but it's his first, big boy job in Serie A. He's going to lead them through the end of the season. At the very least, we know he'll have the fans on his side.
Given that dreadful league record, how has he developed such a good rapport with these fans, Gab?
Well, this is one of the things that his critics will say really, really matters, and maybe one of the reasons why big teams aren't lining up to sign him. It's his style of play. He looks to defend. He's very intense. His players, it translates to his players. The players are always in the referee's face, always looking to get an edge. Like, he's been sent off 7 times from the bench in the last 2.5 years. Everybody remembers what happened at the Europa League final. If you're a fan of the team and he's on your side, this is exciting. You're going deep into competitions. You may not be winning Serie A, but, if you can have a cup run, I mean, crikey, you'll take it. And he delivered massive European Cup runs in the 2 years he was there. He might have delivered one this year too. So I think that's why a lot of people spoke to it. He's also been really, really good when he speaks about embracing the city and whatnot. He did that again in his farewell message. So I think that's why fans who are there, they say, wow, this is really entertaining. Others who value results more say, well, hang on a minute. Where are we going with this? And why are teams like Bologna and Atalanta and Fiorentina ahead of us in the table?
When I looked at the odds, Gab, I was not expecting Newcastle to be high on the list of where his next destination would be. But that's exactly how the bookies have it. Quite incredible, really. Has he still got that magic left to go to a club like Newcastle?
I think in the right context with the right coach, I think Mourinho can probably still do, so with the right squad and the right owner especially, I think he can still do a job. I don't see him as a favourite for the Newcastle job. I really don't see him ending up there at all for many different reasons, starting with the fact that Eddie Howe's been given a pass, starting with the fact that from what we've seen of the Public Investment Fund of Saudi Arabia, who own 90% or 80% of the club, they've actually tried to grow the club organically and be a bit cautious in their growth. And where he come to the Premier League, he wouldn't just have two teams with higher wage bills than his; he'd have 5 or 6. So to me, this makes little sense. To me, this is just kind of bookies taking a flyer, because those odds came out like an hour after the Friedkins announced that he'd been let go.
Shaka, you said you'd be excited to see him.
Okay, all right. Listen, I understand why the bookies would make Mourinho favourite to go to Newcastle United, but I'm with Gab in that I just don't see it happening. Nothing about the ownership and how they've run the club thus far suggests that they take a punt at Jose Mourinho.
But look, he's a winner, Shaq. Look at all that.
Nothing that Eddie Howe has done, in my opinion, has warranted an early exit. Certainly not at this juncture. Yes, of course, his supporters or his fans would point to Jose Mourinho as being a winner. I've heard that time and time again. But that has eluded him, some context, Europa Conference League apart, in his last 2 jobs. And if that is what you're relying on, who he once was, it doesn't make an awful lot of sense. And to that point, Newcastle have already tried their hand with a former winning manager in Rafa Benitez, and that went disastrously wrong.
This, of course, is his best moment for Roma. And what about a third stint at Chelsea, Frank?
No, I don't believe this is going to happen. I don't see the board or the fans really keen to see Mourinho coming back to Stamford Bridge. I mean, I want to separate the man to the coach. Where I met the man like 3-4 times. He's an absolute adorable person. He was. I don't know if he's still. But what I see as a coach, the guy became very, very aggressive, I would say. He changed, and on top of it, as a coach, he didn't bring what he used to bring. That's more than a decade that we see him going slowly into a descent on his skills and the way he performs with the team that is in charge. So he spends money because he's Mourinho, because he has a background, but he's not as effective as he used to be. And Chelsea is not looking for a coach like that, because it will change everything that they plan to do, which is what was wrong. Maybe that will go back to success, meaning experienced players. That's not what they want. They want to go to trading business. So it's not part of the Chelsea plan or the board plan. So I don't see him coming back.
What do you think, Steve?
Do you know, everybody, whether it's a player or a coach, you reach a point where you're past your best. And that seems to me where Mourinho is. We don't associate Mourinho with 6th and line and 9th. Mm-hmm. If you listen to Mourinho, he's a winner, he's all about winning, he's all about being the best. That seems to be long gone. And the fact that you hang on to the conference title, I mean, in real terms, that means that they're the best 6th best team in European leagues. That's what it means in real terms. If you want to look at it through Mourinho's eyes, it's a European title. But the truth is, it's way down the list.
De Rossi, of course, as you mentioned, Gab, coming in, very much a Roma legend. Was this quite a clever move to appease those fans who have been so upset that Mourinho's left?
I think so. I mean, I certainly you want to get somebody who the fans aren't going to turn on straight away, right?
Yep.
And so it's important to get Daniele De Rossi. His only stint in Serie B was at Spal. It didn't quite work out. But, you're talking about, De Rossi's a special character as well. You're talking about somebody who, only ever played for Roma and Italy. And at the end of his career, when he had to leave Roma, he said, oh, where am I going to go? I know, I'm going to go and play for Boca Juniors because I think it'd be really cool to play La Bombonera. And I'm going to do it and make a fraction of what I was making before. So he's somebody who's very outward-minded. He's somebody who speaks English, which I think also matters tremendously to the Friedkins, which is why they went for Mourinho, or part of the reason why as well. They wanted to have a direct relationship with him. It'll be interesting because, this morning, and this is something the Friedkins have really been criticized for by a lot of people, including Fabio Capello. It was felt that they were disrespecting Mourinho because he basically showed up for training. They didn't give him any kind of advance warning, and they said, no, let's move training to the afternoon because, by the way, we're going to let you go. And so I think that caught a lot of people by surprise as well. I think De Rossi obviously spoke to them before, but De Rossi as well took him a long time to show up. He wanted to make sure he didn't show up at the training ground while Mourinho was still there. But I'll tell you what, if your first day at work matters, De Rossi decided to spend the night at the training ground and will be sleeping there all week just because he feels he's got so much work to do and so much to catch up on.
What can he do there that he can't do in the hotel, Gab?
Cut the grass.
Well, De Rossi lives in Rome. He doesn't need to. He doesn't need to go to a hotel. No, but the idea is that way your whole staff, you all sleep, you sit there, you sleep together in separate beds, obviously, and then that way you can get up early, you stay up late into the night working, you don't have to waste time fighting your way through traffic in the morning, you don't have the distractions of family. He really wants to hit the ground running because, look, he's got the rarest of things, right? He's a fan who got to play for the club, and now he gets to go and manage the club. And that's not an easy transition.
Would you and Paul sleep over at the Revs during...
Oh, all the time. They used to try and throw us out, Paul and I. As Gab said, he's a different type of character.
Can you tell me that they used to keep tabs on you? Like you had to just hang around till 5 o'clock just for the sake of it?
No, that was when another guy was in Chelsea.
Right, OK.
Yeah, I don't... Gab said he's a different type of character.
Yeah.
I would suggest my own personal thought is to get away from the training ground, to get away from the stadium, I think is better for you because it relaxes you. I believe it relaxes you more and it opens your mind a little. Uh-huh. I don't agree with it. These guys that go and do that sort of thing, I don't get it at all. I'm just wired differently, I guess.
Can you imagine keeping tabs on his TV, the reports that would come back? I'm not sure I want that job.